Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, today on the channel, we are taking a look at three little indie RPG kind of a zine style games. And in this video, I'm thinking of these as kind of three different genres and three different vibes, three different feels. And I'm going to be making some musical analogies to compare them to kind of give you a hint if these are the right games for you. I don't know. It's just something that came to my mind as I was looking at each one of these. But the three games we're looking at are Rage in Hell, and that is from Justin Shu. And then we have the Outcast, a game of reputation and redemption. And that is from Cesar Capaco. And then we have Chygron, and that is from Jacob Skrzyncki and Elijah Wisniewska. I know I butchered those names. I'm sorry. I think they're Polish, and man, those names are so hard for me to pronounce. But in addition to looking at Chygron, we will also take a look at Beyond Chygron. This is an adventures guide. This is kind of a super expanded, kind of a supplement or a setting, a world book, all set in this world of Peak Black, the Black Peak, the Black Mountains. And this is a really, really neat book here. But yeah, so in thinking about these games in terms of music and music analogy, music is my number one passion. I listen to more music than I do just about anything else in my life. I am constantly looking for new and interesting bands to discover, and just constantly kind of listening to music and thinking about music. But I was thinking of these three games in completely different genres of music. And so the first game that we will look at, this is recommended for people who like bands like Author and Punisher, or Frontline Assembly, Front 242, or maybe some grindcore, maybe some Bolt Thrower, or stuff like Tomb Mold. And of course, that is Rage in Hell. And if you listen to those kinds of bands and you dig those kinds of vibes, then Rage in Hell might be a perfect game for you. And so this is just a little zine game. This is a game all about basically arena combat. You are a mighty star warrior, and you have landed on this planet of psycho techno demons, and you have to fight through a group of 15 of them and survive. And I think this game has a really, really cool backstory. It is one of those just kind of perfect kind of 80s action movie backstories. So let's take a little read of that here in the introduction to Rage in Hell. You are a mighty star warrior, a veteran of 100 battlefields, and currently fighting in the Third Demon War, a wretched conflict fought for over 100 years already. Who would have predicted that mankind would encounter demons in outer space, well outside of Florida? A famous Twitter content creator said, after the first Alien War, the Vampire Oppression War, the Vampire Freedom War, the Clone Rebellion, the 72nd Alien War, and more, humanity really shouldn't have been surprised by a demon war and the two sequels which followed it. I love that they call the second and third Demon War the sequels. On your way to reinforce a distant frontier colony planet, the military transport ship you were on was destroyed by a colossal spacefaring demon the size of Texas with too many eyeballs. You managed to escape on a drop pod and made landfall on a nearby demon-infested planet. No one else made it. According to your scans, there is an ancient warp gate on the planet, one that could take you back into the safety of human space. You are armed with only basic weapons, but your power suit has a built-in nanoforge that could forge some of the most powerful weapons this side of the galaxy. Provided you can find the materials for it, the demons are hunting you. Will you survive? All right, let's play some game turn examples of Rage in Hell. So what you need some standard dice: D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, D20. And you also need a deck of playing cards, because you will draw from these cards to determine what kind of events you have either before or after the fight, and it will determine which kind of demons you are fighting in the arena. Now, you will also need a pencil and some paper. Where did my other note cards go? All right, here we go. Okay, so for a quick game, you want to take 15 cards and shuffle them together, and that will be your encounter deck, and without jokers. So we'll take 15 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, let's make sure there are no jokers here. Joker, we do have a joker, and well, 2 jokers. And that will be all the jokers. So we will draw 2 more cards to make up our 15 card encounter deck and give that a quick shuffle. Okay, so we can lay that aside now. Okay, so we want to come up with a name, and the name should be sufficiently 80s action star name. So I think I will be Slade Stackhouse. Okay, so I am Slade Stackhouse. And let's see, we start with 20 HP, 20 hit points. And you start with 2d6 plus 5 materials. And the materials are what you can use to build your weapons and to help you survive. So let's say 2d6. Oh, wow. Okay. A double 1, 7 materials. Really, really bad. All right. This is not going to go well. This game does remind me a lot of the old Games Workshop game Chainsaw Warrior, but I actually prefer this over Chainsaw Warrior because it's faster to play, it's quicker to set up, and I think it offers just as much game as Chainsaw Warrior does. Maybe there might even be more decisions to make in this, if that is even possible. Okay, so yeah, 20 hit points. All right, so yeah, good luck, soldier. We're going to need it with only 7 mats. So we have weapons. And we also have access to some items that we might find. So we'll keep those 2 things on our character sheet as well. So name, HP, mats, weapons, items. That's really all you need to create your character in Rage in Hell. And now we can start kind of building our arsenal with only our 7 mats. 7 materials. So we can buy ammo clips, and ammo clips can be purchased for 3 mats for 1 ammo clip. And ammo clips are used to reload your ranged weapons. Ranged weapons have a number of shots that you can use, and as soon as those are used up, you have to reload it with an ammo clip. But there are also melee weapons. Some of the demons you fight are more susceptible to range, or they might have greater defense against range, and same goes for melee. We only have 7, and we always have our fists. So we always have a fist, and our fist is a melee weapon, and our fist does D4 damage, and it doesn't need any ammo. You always have access to it. It doesn't count as a weapon. So we might be able to build 1 more weapon. I'm thinking we should probably build some kind of ranged weapon just in case we come across some kind of flying demon who has really good defense against melee. We can buy, let's see, that only has 3 shots. A pain caster has, a needle stinger has 4 shots. That costs 7. That would take all of our mats. We can build a giant effing sword, the teeth breaker, the hellfire crossbow, the gauss beam shooting sensor gear, emotional support hand grenade. Let's go for the needle stinger. Okay, so needle stinger, that is ranged. It does 4d4 damage, and it has 4 shots, and that takes all of our mats. So our mats are now down to 0. And then after this, let's see, before this here, we have all of our rules. And so basically the rules are really simple. You draw a card, you do what it says, you have combat, rinse, and repeat. In between bouts of combat, you can do some of these rest actions such as healing, reloading, recycling, and forging new weapons and armor. So let's go ahead and combat is very simple. You roll a d6. If you roll a 0 to 9, you have failed your attack, and then the enemy gets to counterattack. If you roll a 10 up, 10 to 14, then you have a successful attack, but the enemy also gets to counterattack. If you roll a 15 or higher, you attack. The enemy doesn't get to attack you. You do damage, and then there is also a critical success. If you roll a 20, you double your damage. If you roll a 1, then your weapon jams and you can't use it until you unjam your weapon. And that is basically the game. One of the things that changes is on your encounter card, if you draw a diamond or a heart, then something happens before the fight. If you draw a club or a spade, then something happens after the fight. And so that's kind of where the variety comes in. So let's draw our first encounter card here. Okay, a Jack of Clubs. So a club, you only resolve this after the fight. So we will have some kind of random encounter after the fight. And now let's turn to our demon list here and let's see what the Jack is. Let's see who we are fighting here. All right, let's see. Here's our demonology. So these are all of the demons that we can fight. And we are going up to the Jack. Okay, so our first encounter here, encounter number 1, is against the Iron Enchantress. The Iron Enchantress has 6 HP, so we have to do 6 damage to her before she is dead. She does a Pain Curse for her attack. So Pain Curse, and that does D6 damage. Strange Luck. If the Iron Enchantress rolls a natural 6 on Pain Curse, they deal an additional 4 damage. They could do 10 damage. They could they could wipe us out in 2 attacks there. Let's read a little bit about the chain in the Iron Enchantress. Their skins are covered in iron. They have an upper body of a woman and a lower body of a snake. These animated iron golems contain the souls of hundreds of sacrificed virgin women. They inflict a horrific pain upon their prey. Okay, that's pretty nasty. All right, so we have to fight the Iron Enchantress. Let's get rolling our D20 here. Okay, come on. We need a 15 or higher. And we rolled a 1. That is excellent. Okay, so what weapon did we use? I should have chosen my weapon first. I will retcon this to say that I did choose my fist, let's say. So we will miss that attack. I don't think a critical miss does anything to a melee weapon. Let's see. Yes, a critical failure only impacts a ranged weapon there. So we don't need to worry about that. Luckily, I know that's probably cheating a little bit. Maybe I would have used my needler, but man, I need all the luck I can get. I need all the cheat I can get after all of these 1s. 3 1s in a row. Okay, so anyways, I take D6 damage now from the Iron Enchantress and a 2. Okay, so 2 damage. So I'm going down to 18. There's also a character sheet here, but you don't really need the character sheet. You could print them out though if you get the PDF, and maybe there's only PDFs left of this game. I'm not sure. Okay, so now we need to roll our D20 again. Let me dump those dice out there. And a 4. No. Wow. Okay, we miss again. So the Enchantress attacks us, and she does 1 point of damage to us, bringing us down to 17. Okay, come on. I need some good rolls here. A 5. No. And 5 points of damage. Okay, so this Enchantress might just go ahead and kill us here. And a 5. And 6. 10 points of damage. I have 2 points of damage left. Will I survive the Iron Enchantress? 18. Hey, I finally hit. All right. And I'll say I should have chosen my weapon first. Of course, I forgot again, but we'll go with the Stinger. We'll do 4d4 damage. 1, 3, 5, and 8 points of damage. Okay, so we finally killed the Iron Enchantress, but she brought us down to 2 points of damage. And now we do have to worry about this club thing. So this thing that will happen after the fight. So let's turn to our complications table here. And the complications table is right after the weapons here. So complications. All right, so we have a D12 to roll here. Okay, so let's see what happens. Hopefully it's something good. A 7. You were hit with a demon's death curse. A -1 to all damage dealt until the end of the next encounter. Okay, so we have a death curse for 1 encounter, -1 damage. Okay, now we can go to our in-between bouts here. So we have our loot at our resting and our loot. So we do get to roll up on our loot. So hopefully we get some mats here. 2. Gain 1 medical kit. Use at any time to heal D4. We're going to use that right now. And I heal 1. All right, Slade Stackhouse is not doing too hot here. Okay, so now after this battle, I can rest. So I will rest. I'll heal a D4. 2. Okay, that brings me up to 5 hit points. I don't need to reload. I did use 1 shot on my needle stinger, which brings that down to 3. I can recycle my weapons to get half the mats back, or I can forge new weapons or ammo. I don't have anything to forge with, so Slade, it's not looking too good. Let's see what Slade encounters next. A 7 of spades. Let's do a red card here so you guys can see what happens before about here. Okay, for this example. So we'll take the Queen of Hearts here. Okay, so when you roll up a hearts, you roll up on the stuff that happens before the fight. And that is just a D10. So I'll take my D10 here. And oh, 1. I found some combat drugs. With the expiration date was 200 years ago. Better drink fast. Gain +1 attack this encounter. Okay, so I will drink the I will drink the combat drugs, or take the combat drugs, and that will give me a +1 attack to this encounter. So I'm at a +1 attack and a -1 damage. But let's see what I am fighting here. The Queen, the Sand Devil's Kraken. Okay, so this is my second fight here. Sand Devil's Kraken. And it has an HP of 7. And it does the big tentacles attack. 2d6 damage. Ouch. If doubles are rolled, the big tentacle deals no damage. Okay, so we have a little bit of luck there. These extremely intelligent land-dwelling monsters look somewhat similar to the giant squids of ancient Earth legends, of the ancient Earth legends. They often hide beneath desert sands, waiting to ambush their prey with massive tentacles. Okay, well, hey, let's get to fighting the Sand Devil's Kraken. I will take my D20, and come on, 13. Okay, so at least I hit, but they also hit. Actually, that's going to be a 14 because of my +1. Doesn't push me over that limit of 15 to where they don't get a counterattack. But I will do damage here, and my damage is at -1. I'll just use my Iron Fist because I forgot to say that I was using my Needle Stinger. So this will be a -1, 4. So I do 3 points of damage, bringing him down to 4. And now it does 2d6 damage to me. This could easily kill me. And a 2 and a 5, 7. So the Sand Devil's Kraken has killed Slade Stackhouse. And we made it through 1 bout of combat. And I think the farthest I've made it is to round 10. So yeah, this game, it's silly. It has a lot of luck. But it also does have a lot of flavor, especially once you can start building up your mats to put together your arsenal of things that you can use to combat the demons. And yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. It's silly, but it's super fun. I love that theme. I love that backstory. I think the game does a really good job of selling that kind of 80s. It's almost like a trauma film, like Mutant Hunter or something like that. Wasn't that a trauma movie that they were? No, that was a Canon film, wasn't it? The VHS cassette where the mutant guy was holding the guy up, or Metal Storm, or any of those kind of really cheesy 80s kind of mutant post-apocalyptic battle movies. And I know Trauma did make some, or at least they distributed some of those movies. But yeah, Rage in Hell is pretty cool. I know you can get the PDF still. I don't know if physical copies are available, but if you want to just have kind of a fun romp fighting demons, then Rage in Hell might be a cool game for you. Okay, next up is a game that I am saying is kind of like a cosmic jazz or introspective jazz. This is a game of discovery. If you like music by performers like Sun Ra or Kamasi Washington, or maybe some of that more introspective jazz by somebody like Pharoah Sanders or John Abercrombie's Timeless. Pharoah Sanders, his very first album just got remastered last year. It's self-titled Pharoah Sanders, and the first track on that is called Harvest Time. If you guys have not heard that track, go to YouTube and search for Pharoah Sanders Harvest Time. Man, what a beautiful, beautiful composition that is. But I'm thinking of kind of introspective jazz for this game, and that is Outcast from Caesar Kapakal. And this is a game of reputation and redemption. So this is that The Outcast is a solo RPG about reputation and redemption. Your character has been ostracized by a community they were once part of because of a mistake that you made. You embark on a lonely journey, fulfilling missions to try and restore your reputation. So I've done a little bit of the prep work in this game just to create the character. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Let's take a look here at the character. And so characters are pretty simple. You have a name. I need to come up with some kind of name for this character. I'm going to say my name is Jero Jero Telan. Jero Talan or something like that. Yeah, okay. And you don't really have any stats or anything. You have a name, you have a concept, and then you have your edges and your snag. And these kind of help you throughout the game by pushing you in fiction directions and narrative directions, and they can also hinder you. So at the beginning of the game, you get to come up with 3 different edges and 2 different snags, and we can take a look at how you can do that. If you can't come up with them yourself, how you can use the book to help you. And so when you come up with your character, first thing you're going to do is you are going to create a setting and you will create a mission before you create your character. And so you kind of learn a little bit about the world and about what's going on before you come up with your character, because this is a game all about self-discovery. This is a game all about discovering the world and what is going on. I would say that out of the 3 games we're looking at today, this one has the most journaling. And so that's kind of why I think it is kind of more of an introspective game. I'm not going to be doing a lot of journaling on camera because I think it's kind of boring to watch somebody write, but I will talk about what is going on. And to play this game, all you need is 2d6 and 2 different colors, because a lot of the rolls in this game are rolling 2 dice and looking at a darker color and a lighter color. Which one of these is darker and lighter? That's kind of a philosophical question, right? We'll always read the green as the lighter as the first die there. Okay, but your setting here. And you have a favorite setting from another RPG, video game, book, or movie, just steal it. It can be a fun exercise to spin off in a different direction. However, if that's not the case, the following generator can help you come up with something. So we have a D6 times D6 roll. And I came up with Ancient Wild Skies rolling here. So you want to come up with 3. You want to roll 3 times to get some results. So let's take it a different example here. So 32. We have Space, 61. Space, faith, okay. Some kind of religious-based science fiction. That's one of my favorite subgenres. And 54. And ancient. Okay, so maybe there's some kind of ancient temple floating in space, almost like kind of like Warhammer 40K or something. Some kind of, you are part of some kind of brotherhood of a monastic brotherhood floating through space in a giant space station monastery. That sounds awesome. I already love that setting a little bit more than the one I came up with. But the one I came up with was Ancient Wild Skies. And then we also have an oracle in the back of the book here called Oracle 3, where you can come up with some more keywords to help you flesh out whatever else you need. And so I came up with Nature Abundance. And so we can roll a couple more times here. 33, we have movement. Okay, so we're moving through space. Maybe in our new example, our space station monastery has lost control and it's plummeting towards a planet. And maybe that was the thing that I caused. Man, I almost want to switch characters right now. Should we? I had this all set up. Okay, yeah, we're going to go for this. We're going to go for the space monastery setting. I'm calling an audible here. Okay, so we have our space monastery. And my character is part of this space brotherhood of monks. Sorry for the writing here. I know that's not very exciting. All right, so a space brotherhood of monks. And something I did, maybe I spilt some ale on the control panel, and and it has caused, so I caused some kind of accident, has left the space monastery uncontrollable or out of control. And we are plummeting, or we are traveling through space And maybe towards an asteroid belt, towards asteroids. As if anybody can read this handwriting. Just kind of remind me. Okay, so we're traveling at a high speed. We can't control our space monastery, and we are heading straight for an asteroid field. And let's roll one more keyword here. 24, scarcity. The life support system. If we go into this if we collide with these asteroids, it will damage our life support system. Damage life support. And then we will be up a creek without a paddle there if we lose our life supports. All right, so I'm going to take my new character here, and I'm going to call him Brother Darius. And concept, he is a young initiate. He's a young initiate monk. First time in space. I love religious science fiction. It's one of my favorite subgenres of science fiction. I guess we can take a look at the one I was going for. Okay, so the one I had ancient wild skies and nature abundance. So I said that this was kind of a vast metropolis treehouse built high into the sky above the clouds, and all of these various trees are connected by sky bridges. And they're built upon these massive trees that continue to grow, and they grow pretty fast. And each clan kind of has their own tree. And each clan is supposed to protect their own tree. And the trees have these little saplings that can kind of be grafted onto their clan tree to continue to have it grow and to establish new areas in their clan tree. I guess that's kind of interesting too. But the saplings are very, very valuable. And I made a mistake where I fell asleep in one of my guard duties, and an enemy came in and stole some of our saplings. And that has never, ever happened before. And so that was kind of the first mission. So let's come up with some edges and concepts for Brother Darius here and see what kind of things that he is good at. So if you can't think of things that your character might be good at, you can roll on the edge generator. And so let's roll on the edge generator to get some ideas. We'll do this 3 times. 25, so 2-5. Prevention. Anticipate movements. Prepare a counterattack. Remove traces. Stay alert. Okay, so what would that mean to a Brother Darius? Brother Darius is good at preventing. Let's see. Preventing, anticipating movements, prevention. He's a young initiate, first time in space, and he is good at preventing conflict. Preventing conflict. So maybe he can kind of talk people down when they are on the edge of coming to blows or something like that. Okay, second edge, 33, 3 and 3. Maneuver. Put yourself in advantageous position. Get rid of unfavorable situations. Even though he can be quite clumsy, Brother Darius is often lucky after the fact. So something bad happens, but then he kind of stumbles into luck to resolve it, something like that, okay? And our third edge here is 21. Amplify, increase damage, area effect, number of targets, skills, duration, range. Okay, he's good at making something better, making something more. I'm going to say that he's spreads cheer. He has a good disposition, and so people tend to like him, even though he can be clumsy. And so he is good at spreading goodwill. He's affable. Brother Darius is an affable guy, even though he is a bit clumsy and maybe a bit goofy. Okay, so our snags. These are things that Darius will have trouble with. And 31. Amplify, increase threats and challenges escalate. He has a tendency to I'm just going to put he's clumsy. and he often trips on things, and yeah, he's just generally clumsy. And 42. 42 harm causes. Okay, yeah, he's clumsy and he is accident prone. And so the other brothers in the space monastery are just kind of constantly rubbing their heads, getting headaches, and going, "Oh, brother Darius, if you weren't so affable, we would shove you out of the airlocks months ago, or something like that." Okay, so we have our character, and now we need to come up with our first mission. So let's go back here. And so, yeah, so he has done something that has caused his ship, his space monastery, to start traveling out of control. And my character usually approaches their problems with, I'm going to say, with resolve. And what group did I belong to? We've established that I'm part of a space brotherhood of monks. What do they think I did? They think that I caused, maybe I didn't spill anything, but because I am accident prone, and because I am a bit clumsy, that they think that I am the cause of their monastery going out of control. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not, but I need to solve that. And what can I do to make things right? I can try to fix the control system. Okay, so we've established the character, and now we want to come up with our first mission. And we kind of did this. We kind of did this with the setting, with the story. So I am saying that my first mission is to fix the navigation computer. Now, if you didn't come up with that while you were generating your setting and your story and your character, then you could also use these to help you. And so you could come up with something like 45, 4-5 here. We could kill 65. Kill a resource or something like that. And so you can kind of combine those words with also some of the key words from your Oracle 3 here to come up with a mission. But we have our mission. We came up on our mission organically while we were creating our character and our setting here. Okay, so now we have playing the game. We want to come up with a scene. So we are in the control room of our space monastery. Who is there with you? I'm going to say that one of the brother engineers here is with me. So we are with our brother engineer, and he is like, "What did you do, brother Darius?" So we have brother engineer, and he is with us. And maybe we can try to convince him that it wasn't our fault, but everyone thinks it is, and so we're here to try to help, try to set things right. Okay, so we can try to convince him that, hey, we didn't do this. I don't know who spilt that ale on the control panel, but it wasn't me, I promise. But everybody thinks it's brother Darius because I'm so clumsy and accident prone, and so I need to try to maybe let's see how brother engineer feels about us. Feels about me, and that could be a warm-up role. So here we're kind of setting the scene. We're framing the scene with brother Darius and brother engineer. We are in the control panel, and let's see how brother engineer feels about us. So here we can do this. So we will have the green be the light die. 21. Okay, so if the light die is greater than the dark die, then things are in our favor. So brother engineer, he believes us. And he also knows that we are here to help, and we could possibly, maybe we convince him that we are ready to help. We are ready and willing to help set things right because we want to get right back with our other brothers. And a couple senses, sight and smells and sounds. I think we would smell maybe some of the smell some of the smoke that is billowing out of the control panel. There are sparks going around. We're hearing these kind of like grinding of gears and machinery. And so we know that just things are not right with our space monastery spaceship, and we need to solve it. Does brother Darius know anything about the machinery? And there is another oracle, and I think this is a pretty cool little oracle here. And this isn't an oracle where you set up a question where you say the higher So you roll a d6 and you say the higher the number, something happens. So the higher the number, the more that Brother Darius knows about the kind of machinery that needs to be repaired. A 1. Okay, so Brother Darius really doesn't know anything about the machinery. Let's see how much Brother Engineer knows about it. I'm going to give Brother Engineer advantage on this roll because he is an engineer, so I will take the highest. And a 5 and a 5. Okay, so Brother Engineer, he knows quite a bit about what is going on. And Brother Darius can... how apt is Brother Darius to know, to be taught? Does Brother Darius have the capability to learn about this machine to fix it? A 5, yeah. So he has a high aptitude for learning about these things from Brother Engineer. And because Brother Darius is younger and Brother Engineer will say is kind of an older guy, Brother Engineer is sending Brother Darius into the bowels of this ship because Brother Darius is kind of small and skinny and he can crawl through, and Brother Engineer is having to guide Brother Darius down the depths into the belly of this beast, of this mechanical beast, in order to fix the machine that is messed up. So that is our scene. We've established the relationship between Brother Engineer and Brother Darius, and now we have our scene resolution. So this is where we find out how things go for our character. And to win the game, to win this overall mission, we have to make progress on this track. And there are 5 spots to keep progress. If you make good progress, you do a checkbox. If you fail, you color in a solid circle. And once all 5 are filled in with those symbols, then you look at those and then you can determine how well that mission went. So scene resolution. Okay, and then you can also use your you can spend your edges. So if you don't like the result of your scene resolution roll, you can spend an edge and come up with a narrative way using your edges in order to do better. Now, I started with 2 snags. If I get 5 or more snags, because as you do your scene resolution, you can add snags, then you face desolation and you can actually lose the mission, you can die and things like that. So let's do a scene resolution here. 65. Okay, 65. So we get 1 check. So we make some progress and we lose a snag. Hey, that is a great roll. So we will add a checkbox to our first progress marker there, and we can lose a snag. Brother Engineer is guiding Brother Darius. He's telling him what to do, and Brother Darius, through this work, has gained some confidence, and he will become less clumsy. This is really helping with Brother Darius's self-esteem. He's doing well, and he is making progress towards fixing this machine. Okay, 34. 34. We are adding add or refresh an edge. Okay, so if we have used one of our edges to re-roll, then we can refresh that edge so we can use it again, or we can add a new edge. I'm going to add a new edge and say that he is learning, so technical know-how. Technical know-how. Because he's learning about technical knowledge. Because he's learning about these machines from Brother Engineer. Okay, but I didn't make any progress, but I do have that technical knowledge now, so that's good. Let's do another scene resolution here. 55. Okay, 55 here. All right, so again, I make more progress, and I can lose another snag. I can lose my accident prone. So I've learned enough about this machine. I've learned enough about the ship that while I'm on this mission, I am no longer accident prone because I've seen all of the danger. Brother Engineer is guiding me correctly, and so I know what to do. And you would just continue on that path until you fill in all of your progress tracks. And then once you fill in your progress tracks, you have a final scene, and then you have your mission conclusion. And depending on how many check boxes you have checked, you add to your light die. If you have any of those bad dark circles on the progress track, you add those to your dark die. And then if your light die and modified ends up being higher than your black die modified, then the mission is a success. Otherwise, it is a failure. And you learn about your character, you learn about what's going on, and you can keep going, or you can just do a one-off. So this is a pretty neat system. We recently did take a look at another really neat thing from this creator, and that is Random Realities. And this was a huge book of oracles, and I'm pretty sure that you could also incorporate some of these oracles into your games of Outcast. So that was Outcast. And now we have, let me clean up a little bit and then we'll get to our final game. Okay, our final game here is Corny Gron. And I'm saying that this is for fans of kind of like pastoral progressive rock or early progressive rock, maybe the British folk revival or dark folk. If you like bands like Genesis, early King Crimson, maybe Aphrodite's Child, the early band with Evangelist in there. Or you like some like kind of a dark folk music with bands like Agalok or Necoquin, I think they're called. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. I love the band, but I don't know how to pronounce their name. Or even bands like Current 93 or something like that. Then you will probably get along very well with Corny Gron. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. The Beyond Corny Gron has a pronunciation guide in the back here, if I can find it here. But yeah, some of these words are very, very hard for me to pronounce here, because let's see, the C is like like in pizza, so it's chani, and let's see, chani. The R is as in rest. The O is as in odd. So chani, sani gronya. And the N with an accent there is, this was the hard one. It's pronounced as like filet mignon. So mignon, gronya, something like that. But hey, you get the point. All I know is that it's not Corny Gron or Corny Gron. But yeah, so this game is kind of based off of the original game that inspired Morkborg, and that's Dark Fort. And it's kind of a simple little dungeon crawling game where you are working your way through a mountain range, trying to upgrade your character, trying to learn 6 different attributes, and then find a hideout where you can kind of retire with your outlaw companions. And this game is pretty cool. And it's kind of a point crawl system. And your character is very simple. And so we'll take a look at the expanded supplement there after we look at the regular game here. But here we have in the beginning. And you just need a sheet of paper. You need some D6 and some D4s. I think those are the only dice you need. You start with 15 hit points. You start with D6 plus 6 coins. And your name is either Jasiek or Yagna. And I am Yagna. And right now I have 10 hit points. I have 0 coins because a guy just stole all of my coins. I've made no advancements. And I have, for my items, I have a knife that does D4 damage. I have a leather kaftan armor, which prevents D4 damage. I have an axe that does D6 damage. And I have an herbal potion, which heals D6 HP. And as you defeat enemies, you gain experience points. And so to advance, to learn one of those 6 advancements, those 6 skills that you have to win the game, you have to visit 12 locations and have 15 points, and you will learn 1. And when you have that experience, you turn to the back of the book here and you get to roll on your advancement. And then you want to gain all 6 of those. And then, yeah, so it's kind of cool. You can also do it by gaining 40 coins or any other instructions that might tell you to do so. So there are a number of different ways to gain advancements. But so far on my adventure, so you start in a mountain range, and there was a highway hideout there, a highwayman hideout. and I went north into the crags. I passed through the crags. I came across the Milord's Manor, and this was kind of a sub dungeon crawl within this game where I found this giant mansion. And the mansion here is called the Milord's Manor. Where is that? Where is that Milord's Manor here? There it is, My Lord's Manor. And you have to kind of travel through the manor there. And so I went in through the front entrance. I came across a hallway. I had a fight with one of his guards. And then I went into his study. It was actually the study of the Lord. And he demanded all of my money or he would have to fight me. And he's very powerful. So I decided just to pay him off. And then I escaped my Lord's Manor. I went to the west here. I came back into some crags. And then I had to backtrack because there was no other way out. And I'm back here down at my starting mountain range. And so let's play a couple of turns here of Corny Gron and places in the mountains. So I have 3 other pathways out of the mountains. I will go towards the west here. So I will draw my next point. And let's see what I find. 7. Deep woods, roll and resolve an encounter. Okay, so we have the deep woods. Now we want to roll to see how many other passages lead out of the deep woods. 2. Okay, so we can go, it doesn't matter which direction. I'll go north and continue west like that. And now I have an encounter in the deep woods. So we have encounters in the mountains. Let's see, encounter in the deep woods are in 7. Okay, so let's see what kind of encounter we have. A 6, you meet a traveling merchant who wants to trade with you. You can buy or sell objects at the prices described in trade section on page 14. After you finish haggling, the merchant is on his way and you can mark the place as visited. So we can turn to page 14 and we can see that all of the things that are available to trade. I have no money and I don't really want to give up any of the items I have. So I am just going to bid the traveling merchant farewell. Have a nice day, and we will continue on our journey. Okay, let's head north out of the deep woods and into 5, into a burrow. Roll and resolve an encounter. At least one path leading forward is an entrance to a cave. So a cave is another kind of sub-dungeon like the manor. When you roll to determine the number of other paths going out of this place, subtract 1 for the score. Okay, so we'll subtract 1. Okay, so 4. So we have 3, and one of them leads towards a cave. Okay, so we are here, a burrow. And we have 3, so we'll go 1, 2, 3. And we'll say that this one here leads to a cave. So we can go in and explore the cave. But now let's have an encounter. So let's see what our encounter is. 6. Hey, the traveling merchant. The traveling merchant just happened to be going in the same direction as us. So we see the merchant again. Hello, merchant. And let's go ahead and head off into the cave because I have not been into a cave yet. So we find a cave. And let's see, a cave, page 12. Okay, so we have, I'm going to put a little check mark here to show that we have traveled and we've had our encounters in the burrow and the deep woods. And now we are in a cave. And now we can turn to page 12 to have our cave encounters. Okay, cave encounters. Roll a d6. So a cave. While going down the cave, roll for a cave encounter. Do not raise the score with any modifier during the roll. After resolving the cave encounter, roll d4 minus 2 to see how many tunnels lead further down. So you might want to grab another index card here to have our cave. So here we have our entrance. So this is our cave entrance there. And if you want to exit through the burrow that you came through, you have to retrace your steps. While visiting the places you have already been to, remember to check if there are no new enemies. And that's on a 1 or 4 chance. So whenever you return to a place you've already visited, you roll a d4. And if you roll a 1, then you have an enemy encounter. Okay, so let's have cave encounters here. Roll a d6. So this is at the entrance here. A 6. You find a hidden passage to the cellar of my lord's manor. Oh man, we can go back to the manor. It is guarded by a hardy enemy. After the fight, mark the place as visited. If you encountered the hidden passage before, roll a d6. We did not. Okay, so we have an encounter with a hardy enemy. So we have two different kinds of enemies here. We have scanty enemies and hardy. So easy and hard. So let's see who we are fighting as far as our hardy enemy, who is guarding an entrance back to my lord's manor. So we might need to combine these two maps to figure out where that entrance is. And a 2, a bear. So a bear. So yeah, that makes sense. A bear is in a cave. It's 5 points, but it's worth 7 points when defeated. 5 points. So that means I have to roll a d6 and get a 5 or a 6 to hit. And then if I don't, it does d6 plus 1 damage to me. It has 10 HP. After the fight, there's a 2 on 6 risk of losing one of your objects. And that means if you roll a 1 or 2, then you lose one of your objects. Okay, so I have to get a 5 or more in order to hit the bear. And a 3. No, I do not. So it does d6 plus 1 damage to me. It does 6 damage to me, bringing me down to 4. I'm going to drink my herbal potion to heal d6. I heal 3. Go up to 7, so I will try to attack it again. And a 6, all right, I hit. And I was using my axe, so I do d6 damage to the bear. 4, all right, so the bear has 6 hit points left. And I'm not going to continue with the combat there. Let's say I kill the bear, and now let's say maybe I lose my axe on a 1 or a 2. A 2, okay, so my axe broke while I was fighting the bear, so I no longer have my axe. I also no longer have my potion because I drank that. And then we can continue on playing. You can continue to explore the caves. There's that bear that I fought there. But you have different types of encounters you can have in the mountains, different places, crags, burrow, deep woods, meadows, a mountain pass, a shepherd's hut, or a mountain village. And yeah, this is a pretty neat little game. I've enjoyed my time with this. I think I like it a little more than Dark Fort. There seems to be a little more going on. There's a little more theme, a little more things to discover. I like these sub dungeons. I like how the Malord's Manor and the cave, each one of those is kind of another little dungeon you can go to, and it also has a nice ending that you're working towards. You're working towards advancing your character, and then once you do, your character kind of retires into the mountains, into the dark peak, the peak dark, which that is what Corny Gron means in English. Translated. But recently, the creator also put out Beyond Corny Gron, and this is kind of a greatly expanded version, but it's not just an expanded version. At first, I was a little disappointed with this. Not because of the content, not because of what was in it, but because of what it wasn't. And that is all on me, because I was just a little confused. I thought that this was going to be a greatly expanded solo, self-contained solo game like the original. But what this is really a setting book. It's a supplement. It is a world book. It's a campaign guide for playing within this world. And it is greatly expanded. It does have some rules, but it's not as simple as rolling up a point crawl. You will have to put a little more effort to it if you want to play this as a solo game, but it's totally, totally doable. What's really nice is on the inside covers here, we have all of our random charts for our mountains, and we also have all of our random charts for our caves right there. So it's kind of the same. You are exploring mountains, you are exploring caves. The Kickstarter version, which I was a background, also came with these really cool postcards that also have a lot of the charts on them. I think these are really, really handy. But in here, so in the book, we have an introduction and welcome to Karpaki. What this is, what this book is, some background on the world. It's kind of a dark folk tale world. There are gnomes and fairies and things like that. And then we get into character creation. The character creation is really cool because it's very narrative based. We have a whole bunch of different charts for our appearance and our outfit. We're looking for a better life. Why are we looking for a better life? What's going on with our character? 4, after your mother threw you out from the family home for having romanced the daughter of a hated neighbor. They say that the Bicey can win over any, even the most hardened men. And the Bicey was an enemy here. Some kind of, let's see, what was that? I remember looking that up. The bestiary in this game is crazy expansive. Almost this entire book is a bestiary. Let's see, the Bicey here. The good neighbors, hidden folk, cousins, them, inhabitants of the Karpaki from the other side. This game does remind me also of a game that we recently took a look at least the setting, and that was Arcadia Tenebra. And these two games might be compatible in some way. So we have male Bicey names and female Bicey names. The bestiary in this book is very, very expansive. We'll take a closer look at that in just a bit. But what brings you here? Who are you? Another D4. 4. You woke up with a headache. Turn to page 24. 24. Okay, you woke up with a headache. 2. On the edge of a pond, surrounded by the corpses of strange bulge-eyed creatures that stink of fish and salt with an iron scale in your hand. Among the bodies, you found drawings that looked like clues leading to an unfamiliar valley among the peaks, signed with characters from a foreign alphabet. Oh, really interesting. Okay, what's our background? 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We were a rafter. So maybe we were rafting down a river that led to this pond. We crashed and we woke up with a headache with this weird language written on this scale that we have. What are some of our values and our flaws here? 14. Righteousness and a flaw. 1. Aggressiveness. So we are easily angered. So it's a really neat way to come up with the backstory of your character. And then here we have some of our Kapakian rumors and legends. And so these are kind of like sparks that you can use for your adventure here. And then D20, a 9. And of all the Carpathian goddesses, the most sympathetic to mortal wanderers is the shape-shifting Ro. She unravels hidden paths and treasures to any girl who manages to grab her hand and to any boy who catches a spark from under her hoof. Really, really interesting. What brought us together? Traveling. If you're traveling with somebody, what brought you together? A D6. You spent an exceptionally joyful evening together at the inn. But then here we have some things that we can come up with, our gear and things and tools that we have and clothing. And as you can see, there really weren't any rules in any of this. It was just a narrative exploration of our character, what brought them to this land, what are they doing there, what kind of quest are they going on. However, if we turn to the back, if we turn to the appendix here, there are actually some rules for playing this as a role-playing game. And so here we will have our rules. They're called the Chieftain rule set. And here's where we get a little bit of the crunch needed if you want to play this as a self-contained game. So there are some rules in here that you can use to play this as a self-contained game, or you could use this as an expansion for your solo games of Chygron, the original, or you could use this just as a setting book for any kind of simple RPG that you wanted to play. Maybe Mork Manual or maybe Mork Borg or something like that. I could use it for my own solo game, A Land in Peril. But it tells you how to explore the world, and then you get into things that you will find in the mountains, and there's all kinds of people, all kinds of things to discover, different peoples, different locations, different animals, different types of encounters. And then when you find caves, you can go through and you can explore the caves, and it walks you through all of the different things and people and creatures that you will find in the caves and examples. And then we get into various factions. So this is more background, more lore about this world, all of the different factions that are living here. And so you can learn more about them. We have some more of our tables here. Different ways to name your mountain passes and your mountains, villages and settlements, issues in the villages, when you become lost, places of power, So yeah, there's all kinds of really cool things. It's such a lovely book. It's so well illustrated, and the pages are nice. We get into a whole section on treasures and loot and different trinkets and things that you can find. And then we finally get into the bestiary. And yeah, this bestiary is crazy expansive. I had no idea. I mean, so here's the first part of the book, and almost the entire rest of the book is a bestiary, and it goes into really, really great detail about the motives and the backstories of all of these characters, the NPCs, the weird kind of fauna that you might discover, the different kind of fae folk and gnomes, and different creatures, and each one of these will have different subtables that you can roll upon. And the stat blocks are pretty simple. We have their hit die, their defense, morale, and then how many are there, what kind of treasure they have, and just a few little details. But then you will always have some charts for things that you can roll up. What are they known for? How do they act? How do they act when you approach them? What kind of attacks do they do? What are they known for? What are their various traits? And yeah, I mean, just look how expansive this is. There's so much to it. It's pretty cool. I think this is one of those source books, one of those setting books that is just as fun to read and look at as it is to use as an actual gaming tool. And it's just a lovely book. It's lovely produced. I'm really, really happy that I backed it. At first, I wasn't. I was a little disappointed just because I had this preconceived notion of what it was. And that was completely my fault. And I kind of put it away for a while. But then I decided when I wanted to do this video, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot Chygron. And I got the expanded book. Let's take a look at it. And I kind of fell in love with it once I reevaluated exactly what it is. But yeah, so hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I know it's a long one, but we did take a look at 3 very different games in very different vibes: Chygron, the Outcast, and Rage in Hell. And all 3 of these games, I know you can get these in PDF. I don't know if there are physical copies left of these anymore, but I have had a lot of fun playing all 3 of these games. I think the one that I will definitely get the most use out of is definitely Chygron. And with the expanded Beyond Adventurer's Guide, I think these 2 things together can make for a really interesting self-contained solo RPG that would offer many, many hours of entertainment. So, all right, you guys. Well, hope you enjoyed this video. We will talk to you later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.